What up? This is going to be my third time recording this, and I'm pissed because I made the video an hour long, and I can't really edit it down because I talk throughout the whole thing. It's so hard to edit that shit. So instead, we're going to go really quickly. Instead of talking about the plots and shit in the story, I'm literally just going to start ranking them and just explain very quickly why, as quickly as possible. And this is a Webtoon tier list. Webtoon is an app for reading webcomics. As you know, webcomics I've talked about before in this channel is just comics that are on your phone and you can scroll up and down for. And more specifically, we're going to look at stuff on Webtoon, on the Webtoon app, because they're all free and they're really good. And I think people are sleepy on it. So let's get right into it. We got to go quick. Okay, this is A Good Day to Be a Dog. This is an A tier. It's a cute romance comedy with supernatural elements in it, and I think it's a really good romance to start with good character-driven conflicts. About death, you follow God as he basically leads humans to their dead or almost dying humans to like their final, like to another path, whatever it may be. And I think it's really interesting, but it has a really controversial aspect. One of the episodes really controversial. I put a B tier. Could have been better. I'm going really quickly. Age matters. We're speedrunning this. We're going to speedrun this, so it's not an hour long. I want this to be like a 20-minute video. Age Matters is a story about a girl who gets cheated on her by ex-fiance. Then she goes and basically works for a company for the CEO who's living right next to her by name of Daniel Yoon. Romance ensues. It's kind of meh. It's a C tier. Still ongoing now. I wish it could have been better. Anara Samuna. Holy shit, I still cannot say this fucking anime webtoon for my life. Anara Sumanara is a fucking amazing webtoon in my opinion. I think people sleep on this webtoon too much. It is a webtoon about a girl. I mean it has the whole thing of like poverty as well as magician and what it means to be a kind of like a child and what it means to pursue your dreams over a career that can help you, right? It has some of the most interesting imagery of all time, and it's so good. It's really good. I would highly suggest reading it. Just as like I think it can really stand its own, not just being a webtoon, but just as any webcomic could. This is Athena's Complex. Had a 3-year hiatus. It's really interesting. If you like Greek mythos, Percy Jackson shit, decent enough art, decent enough and kind of mid plot, mid art, in a art change at season 2 or the next season, which is basically like the next. You can imagine it as like there's a hiatus and then they start a season 2, kind of like an anime. Similar webtoons do that. It's kind of there. That's what Athena's Complex is kind of like. Let's go, Bastard. All right, we gotta go quicker. We gotta go quick. Bastard is a story about a kid who is being threatened by his father to help him commit serial killings, and it's a horror, and it's amazing. It is an amazing horror. It's not like a lot of manga and anime have terrible horror, but this is really good horror. It's actually creepy. And let's just do some of the author's other stuff really quickly if I can find it. Pigpen, which I would give, I think it's an S as well. Similarly to, it's the same author, different artist, but it's basically this guy. He floats to an abandoned island, and when he gets there, he doesn't know something's up with the family on the island, and he can't get off the island. He's trapped on the island and now has to live and work for that family. This is Sweet Home. This is an A tier. I think people are going to be pissed. This is the same author who made Bastard and Pigpen, and it's basically following it's just again a great horror, just like the other 3 too. But I didn't like the ending per se as much as I like the ending of Pigpen and Bastard. But it's amazing horror, all the same. Great art as usual. I would suggest highly reading it if you want a good horror. Blood Inc. I think this is an E tier easily. For me, it's not an E. It's a D tier. I think this story could have been really interesting and had a really interesting premise that in this country contract killing is legal, but it basically tried to widen the scope of things when it didn't need to, and it should have just focused on that killing contract and how to use it. But besides the point, I think could have been a lot better. Boyfriend of the Dead, E tier. It's a zombie apocalypse that became like a shit post for Elsa memes and Disney memes. kind of get the fuck out of here. I mean, it's not good. Cape of Spirits, I think this is a C tier. Cape of Spirits is like an action story about a guy who's rebelling against the empire, and he has like, and he can talk to and there's like spirits who inhabit coins that can like give him weapons and shit. That's literally it. That's all you need to know. I think it has a great. I think it has a decent decent art. I think the story is interesting, but I didn't like how it feels really tropish of like the power of friendship wins all, kind of like to a certain degree, and I find that kind of annoying. But it's also, I like the story, but you know, it's Castle Swimmer. Castle Swimmer is going to be the first boys love. You can't have a tier list without some yaoi in it. As you know, I'm a big yaoi guy, and so it's a shorter. I think it's a much shorter web. It has shorter updates. So every update every week it's shorter, but that's okay. I think it still gets its story across. It's cute. It's cute about romance, about prophecy. It's about character growth. It's about all sorts of stuff, and it does a good job with all of those elements. Catharsis, I think, is an E tier. Catharsis, I don't even remember the plot, and because of that, it's an E tier. It's not good. I remember it not being very good towards the end, so don't even bother reading it. City of Blank, I think, is a B tier. I think it has the potential to be A. It's really interesting concept. This idea of the concept is that there's blanks, and these blanks cannot be touched by any humans, and they also want to steal your fucking face. And they're blanks because they're just silhouettes. So if you take your mask off, they'll steal your face. That's it. Really interesting concept. I would highly suggest reading it. Code Adam, I think, is a B tier. I think it's a little bit. I enjoyed it. It's very similar to Cape of Spirits in that it's an action. It's a kind of a more generic shonen, but it's about siblings, and I'm always been impartial to sibling relationships where they can get better, because my own relationship, maybe it's because I don't have a good relationship with my own siblings, so I look to stories to kind of flesh out sibling relationships that could be good, and that's about it. It's a good fucking action. It's a fun action. Days of Hana is just an amazing. It's an amazing story that gave me really emotional. It's about discrimination between species, and it can be put to real life in terms of discrimination and racism. And I think it does a really good job. I highly suggest it. And we'll do another one. This is an earlier work by the same author of Days of Hana. This is Orange Marmalade. It's an S tier. Simply put it, instead of werewolves in Days of Hana, which I should have said, it's vampires. But instead of and vampires are discrimination, and it's very similar, but it's also different. The stories are different, but it's similar. But I would say Days of Hana is kind of like the more edgier version of Orange Marmalade, which is why I didn't like it as much. Devil Number 4. Simply put it, a devil and his contractee, because devils make contracts, fall in love with each other. It's a fucking great romance drama. Don't Hate, I think this is an F tier. We don't really need to put much thought into it. It's just not good. We don't even need to talk. Let's not talk about it. Dr. Frost, I think, is an S tier. This is this is an actual webtoon written by an actual therapist, actual psychologist, who has actually gotten real advice from real psychologists to write this webtoon, and it's amazing. It is a webtoon classic. Read it. It is fucking amazing. I highly suggest it. Everywhere and Nowhere, we gotta go quicker, is a D tier. It's basically kind of like a time travel webtoon where you get to travel to different things, but it's really highly inaccurate for whatever it's trying to portray, and it was a comedy, became a tragedy and drama. Frickin' Romance is a D tier. It had a lot of potential. I think season 1, season 2 were good. Basically, it's just like a love story, but these two, the premise and the twist is that these two people are in different dimensions, and they're trying to interact with each other without being able to touch each other, and only talking to each other at certain times. And there's like interdimensional shit going on. But I think season 3 was a real letdown, and so that's why I put a D. Ghost Stories, I think, is a B tier. Ghost Stories basically follows ghosts as they tell stories about humans instead of humans. So they flip it. Instead of humans telling stories about ghosts, it's ghosts telling stories about humans, which is when and the ghosts are much more afraid of humans than we think they are, and it's very interesting with some different horror elements. Ghost Wife, I think it's a generic kind of like reverse harem-esque or love triangle-esque type of thing where you have one girl and there's like a bunch of like demons and shit and gods and whatever and spirits wanting to be with her, and that's it. It was fun while it lasted, but you know it's not anything good. It's not like amazing, so that's why it's only C. It's passable. Girls of the Wild is an E tier. I think Girls of the Wild is just not very good. It's a show about martial arts, but it's really there just to like do a lot of fan service for guys or girls who are reading it, without really giving us much of a plot. It's not very good. Gourmet Hound I think is a B tier. It's simply she got a nose. She wants food that she ate a long time ago at this restaurant. She goes, finds those chefs that made her that special food that she had at this 5-star restaurant from a very long time ago. And that's literally all she's doing. Premise of the show, some of the arcs were kind of shit towards the middle. That's why I gave it a B. I Love You is a B. I think right now where it's at on the story it's just getting really slow, and it needs to quicken shit up. Like it needs to speed up its fucking plot. It's just a romance. It's kind of just a romance drama, and that's literally it. And I wish it could be better. I think it could be an A, but it needs to be better. Oh, and The Bleak of Midwinter semicolon, and it actually has a semicolon at the very end. The Bleak of Midwinter is really interesting concept. Just imagine the Terminator really did happen, and we got a Terminator story. The robots have taken over. Humans are at the edge of extinction. However, there's a twist that humans had soulmates with each other, and on their wrists it has a number as to when you will meet your soulmate. And when you meet each other, you'll know. However, this girl Anna, she's been cryogenically frozen for 30 years or something. She's woken up. She's met her soulmate, who also turns out to be a robot. Your Mind is an A tier. Stalker stalks a girl, and that's it. You follow that story, and why does he stalk her? You don't know why, but it's really interesting. It's fucking great. I love this story so far. The character development and the characters are just interesting, but everyone's insane in this story. Kind of Confidential is a D tier. I think in terms of just story progression, I don't quite like the story progression. I don't know how they're gonna end it, because supposedly the story is on its final season and was at a mid-season break right now, which means that only has only so many more episodes to conclude a story, which I think still has so many plot points that has yet to be answered. And it's a story about superheroes and villains. That's it. Read it for yourself if you want any more. Leyland. This has such beautiful art. Leyland's Curse is just beautiful art, great story, and it's like supernatural shit. And it has an ensemble cast where you follow what's going on in this town in Spain through all of their different perspectives, with Leyland of course being the main character, but everyone else gets a share of the story, and they're very interesting characters. Lavender Jack is a C tier. I'm quite I don't know. It's like Batman, but like 1800s, and a black guy, and there's some tokenism, and that's all you need to know. I just don't like it. I found it tokenistic in some of its characters. Let's put it like that. Let's Play is a B tier. It's a story about YouTubing and gaming and following your passions, and with some hints of romance in it. B tier. Lost in Translation. This could be an S tier. Easy. Could be an S, but I think it's an A so far because I don't know where the story's going to go. You follow a bunch of male idols from a K-pop universe from in Korea, but you specifically have Wild, who is known as the bad boy of the group, when in reality he isn't. He's like kind of like a naive, kind of just a nice guy, but his CEO forces him to become the bad guy in order to sell stuff for his band, for his idol group. And you follow kind of that story, and it's really interesting. Really great characters. A tier. Love Advice from the from the Duke of Hell. I think Love Advice from the Duke of Hell. I think this is a C tier. You know what? I'll give it a B tier. It's a B tier. Basically, it's a comedy about how this kid shoots 100 when it comes to demonic powers, but he shoots 0 when it comes to ladies, and he's gonna get some help from that that Duke of Hell if he'll get anything. Lumen is a straight B tier. No, I think it's more of a C tier. Basically, a werewolf boy and his witch friend go on adventures together, but the story, I don't know. Like the issue is that it's so forgettable as of this point in time that I don't really remember what it's about. So that's why it's a C tier. Major Demon Queen, pretty hot. Imagine, you got a fetish for them demons. You got a fetish for that, and you got a fetish for demons with like girl on girl action. Major Demon Queen's just right for you. It's fucking great. A tier. Mosquito War. So this is an amazing story. It's basically mosquitoes taking over the world and humans are at the brink of extinction. Time for mankind to fight back. Bam, that's it. Pretty great art. You should read it. Pretty great story, pretty great art. It's really good. Your Boo this is an S tier. This is a webtoon classic. Girl can see ghosts, moves into a home with a ghost. They start a love relationship with each other, even though they can't touch each other. It's really sad, actually, and I really enjoyed it. My Deepest Secret. This is definitely an A tier. Imagine it's like Your Name. I'm sorry, not Your Name. It's like Your Mind. Like the story is similar to Your Mind, but it's not. But instead, you were in college. This girl has a boyfriend named Elios, and he's a psychopathic killer. That's it. Just take it from there, and that's how it's very interesting. It's really good. Nanolist is a D. I don't remember what it's about. I think it's something to do with like robots and like how this guy has like robots and he has to save the world. I think. I don't quite remember. That's what I meant by I dropped it and I don't remember what it's about. Good art though. I remember the art being good. No Scope is an A tier. And Matt, hey, we're always complaining that the gamers need to rise up. Gamers need to rise up. We don't got enough gamer representation. Well, this is a webtoon about gamers. You follow Do Young as he becomes an esports professional, and it's fucking great. It's great. It's just great. Just watch it. Read it. I mean, I think if you want something with esports, because there's not a lot of, and you don't want to read like long novels about that shit, and a lot of them are gay too. Just read No Scope. It's really great. Consume it. Parallel City. This is amazing. This is amazing. Parallel City. Imagine if doppelgangers existed, where they're now taking over the world and like taking your place and shit, and you're seeing doppelgangers. What do? Especially if you're a parkour legend named Min here, boom, and he's pretty hot too. As you know, I'm a yaoi king. I think he's pretty hot. Would I smash? Yes, 10 out of 10. As long as he's of age, yes. I think he's 18, right? Yeah, he's 18. Sure. Since he's 18, I would smash 10 out of 10. Phase is a C tier. No, you know it's a B tier. I think with Phase, I think it could. Phase is just a story. So far where it's at, I'm a little confused where they're gonna bring it. It's like a flashback scene right now. It's taking a little long, and it's just about this girl who's like superhuman powers, but like when she becomes a little bit hangry, she unleashes huge amounts of power and destroys everything around her and phases, hence the word phase, to another place on Earth. That's literally it. Whatever. It's kind of it could be better. I think the art's really good though, but I don't know where the story's going. The story needs to be on point. Purple Hyacinth. This is an S tier, easy S tier. The author and the artist of the story are amazing, and the music is great too. The music and there is music in webtoons, and the fact that this is the first time I'm talking about the music means that this music is really good and it fits well with the story to set the mood. It's basically there's this cop she's a cop. This girl, she's a cop, and she can tell when people are lying. You can literally see in red, like she knows when you're lying, 100% for sure. And so now she wants to take down the biggest criminal group in this town called the Phantom Scythe. She works with a hot serial killer, hot contract killer named Kyrian, and he's pretty hot, and she's pretty hot, and he would look good together. My ship has already sailed, as you can tell. This is the BTS webtoon. I was really confused. You have to be. So this is. I don't even know why I read this. I didn't even know what it was about, and I just thought, oh, it's short and it's original. Oh, I'll read it. Looks like a lot of people liked it, and what I realized was I did not know what was going on, and it's just a BTS story and it's set in their multi-universe. Unless you're like a real like BTS stan, which I am not. I don't know anything about them. You will not understand this story. Don't read it. It's not worth your time. Scorching Romance, I think, is a C tier. It's a simple romance love story with a twist that both of the characters are cursed. One to be cursed to be eternally like cold, like really cold, and can no matter what temperature he's in, he's always gonna be really cold. Other one, she's really hot all the time. Not like she's pretty hot, like she's like burning. Like if it's in the summer, she might die type of hot, like get a heat stroke type of death. You know what I mean? It's pretty bad. This is okay. So this is I forgot about this one. This is the same author who made A Good Day to Be a Dog, but this is I'll See You in My 19th Life, if I'm correct. I think that's what it's called. You can look it up. It's called, not just type in 19th Life and you'll fucking find this thing. This is basically set in the same universe as A Good Day to Be a Dog, but instead this girl here, she has lived 19 different lives, reincarnated 19 different times, and she remembers all of her past lives, and now she's going to try to date this guy from her 18th life, because she died a premature death before being able to date him. And it's a pretty cute love story, and I prefer it more to A Good Day to Be a Dog. Shadow, simple F tier. This feels as though it's about people who clean up after superheroes. That's about it. But this feels like a fucking webtoon about. It's like a webtoon that was meant to just sell stories for like the actual novel. It's like one of those, you can tell like an anime was just created just to sell stuff for the to sell like the light novel or the manga. That's literally what Shadow feels like. Soul Cartel, I think it's a C tier. God and Faust and Mephisopheles, it's just some kick-ass action with a lot of good fighting scenes and a big tournament arc. But some of the scenes kind of confused the fuck out of me is why they added it in there. Unnecessary stuff. Sub-Zero, C tier. It's supposed to be a political drama, romance about two people who are forced into a political marriage, but it's kind of gotten boring and it feels trite in some of the storytelling. It's just Super Secret, I think it's a B tier. It's a cute little story. Imagine if monsters really existed, and now this werewolf wants to be with this girl, and they do whatever they can to be together, and that's about it. Swimming lessons with a mermaid. Swimming lessons for a mermaid, I think, or swimming lessons with a mermaid. I can't quite remember which one it is. I will find it really quickly for you all, but I'll just tell you a little bit about it. I think it's really good. Basically, there's this mermaid who is living on land, and she got them legs to do it because she was able to get the legs. She's living on land with her father, but she wants to go back to the ocean, but she can't swim. This swimmer dude here finds out that she's a mermaid and helps her swim. And a cute love romance comedy starts. And the story is actually swimming lessons for a mermaid. So I'll make that very clear. So Mosquito Wars had that, and I forgot about Boxer. The Boxer is S tier, the same person who made Mosquito Wars. And it's amazing. It's an amazing story. The action scenes feel like they're really real life. It's like I'm watching an anime happening, and it's like a boxing anime. It's really good. It's sports. Don't just say because it's sports that you don't want to read it. It's really good. Great characters. It's just amazing. The Croaking. Ooh, this is a B tier. It's kind of, I think it's straight like suggestive. Yeah, I think it has some yaoi elements in it. Basically imagine like the world has like human birds, and there's like a hierarchy, and then they go to military school and political intrigue and civil war. That's like it. Possible civil wars. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but something's going to happen. This is just a trashy kind of like one of those trashy isekai things where you're like a girl's transported into another novel or game, whatever it is, where she's like kind of like the other main character, and then the main character, the male lead, falls in love with her, and that's it. It's trashy. God of High School, F tier. This is kind of meh. It's not good. God of High School. I hate God of High School. I should have dropped it after 100 episodes, but I didn't until episode 300 something, and I regret it. It's not good. Don't read it. It's martial arts, but it's just convoluted plot. It has issues. It's too long. It needs to end its story. Too much shit, and it's repetitive. Mori Huey, oh, fuck off. Don't read it. The Makeup Remover. I think The Makeup Remover is an easy B tier. The Makeup Remover follows basically, instead of making makeup out to be the bad guy like in most stories, makeup in this story is used as a medium to talk about confidence and how to build confidence through the use of makeup. And it's really interesting. I think it's really good. I think people should read it. It's much different from other stories, let's just say. The Red King, I think, is a B tier. Just imagine demons and gods exist. Ivan's a human kid trying to find the person who's stolen golden apple. Legitimately, this sounds really convoluted. It's not. And he's thrust into this world of demons and gods. The Remarried Empress, I think, it's kind of similar to The First Night with the Duke, right? In that I think it's kind of mid and it's average, right? Just like The First Night with the Duke here. I think it's mid and average. Basically, she's going to divorce her cheating husband of an emperor and marry someone else. Third Shift Society, I think, is an E tier. My problem with it is it's unmemorable. I don't really remember what it's about. It's something about supernatural shit, and that's about it. To Love Your Enemy, I think it's To Love Your Enemy. I believe that's what it's called. To Love Your Enemy is basically loving your enemy and basically how enemies become friends and then become lovers, and it's really cute, and I love it. It's really cute. Toaster Dude is a D tier. No, it's a C tier. I think it's a C tier. Toaster Dude is just a little bit. It's a weird one. Toaster Dude about a kid, named Guy, who wants to get the best toaster. He just wants toast, and because of that, he becomes a superhero. That's it. That's all you need to know. It's pretty interesting. Unlovable Replacement is in A tier. Lovable Replacement is fast following this guy Chico, who gets dumped by his girlfriend because his girlfriend's kind of an asshole, and then basically falls in love with her, this pizza girl who delivers pizza to them, and they start a relationship with each other, and it's cute. I think it's a good story. It's better than the next one, definitely. Unordinary, C fucking tier. Story about superheroes. And I know people are gonna trash me like, oh, this is the flagship webtoon of Webtoon. We've heard of this before, if any of you have ever heard of it. People, they fucking always market this one as like the Webtoon anime. I mean, as the Webtoon. This shit's not good. I think the story where it's heading is bad. I don't like how she's dropped certain plot points and just forgotten about how shitty some of the characters are. It's just pissing me off. Fuck off. Untouchable, I think, is a B tier. I think it's more of a C tier. I think Untouchable is just a generic love thing with with the twist being vampires and the guy being a germaphobe, and that's about it. It's nothing new. It's kind of meh. But it is complete, and you might like it. But it was okay. It was okay. I would I could still read it, but it's like Uriah and Matt. It's a horror about a kid waking up without his thumb. He's thumbless, and he's trapped in a car, and he's on an island that literally is a prison that has been breached. He's trying to survive. version Day and Night follow. Basically, I give it in D because I don't know where the story is going, and it's just kind of You follow this girl. She's a student by day and a webtoon artist and a webtoon creator by night, and that's all you need to know. And I just don't like where the story is going, but we'll see. Maybe it'll get better. Weak Hero, I think, is a B. Weak Hero is basically, imagine badass characters, like an OP character, but instead of like being OP in like an isekai, he's OP in real life. So like, even though he's weak, Gray is weak, he fights people and beats people up by using his intelligence. As like I said, the pen is mightier than the sword, all right? Where Tangents Meet, I think this is a cute little rom-com. It's not even rom-com, it's just a cute little romance, slice-of-life romance about these two people in high school as they fall in love with each other. And it's the author of Siren's Lament, but I think it's better than Siren's Lament, in my opinion, but it's nice. It's a B tier. Your Letter, I think this is an A tier. Your Letter is the shortest one out of everything on this list, and it just follows two people as they try to find letters together from this mysterious disappeared student, and it's about friendship. Your Throne, I think, is a B tier. It's an interesting political intrigue story with political schemes and and just a lot of infighting between different characters, psychopathic characters. Hence, the main character is a definite like yandere. But my issue with the story is that the art's great, but sometimes the plot feels as though it's missing sometimes explanations that can make the plot much more easy to understand what's going on. Not to mean that it's not, you don't have to bonk it over my head, but like sometimes it's just missing actual explanations. So it gets really confusing. Last one is Ecstasy Hearts. This is just not good. Not a good webtoon. Just don't read it. The art is really good, but that's really all I can compliment about it. Bad storytelling, bad plot, unlikable characters, bad character development. It basically hides the fact that the author can't write a good story behind good art. And that's literally how I would best describe this fucking webtoon. It's not good. So just read anything else but this. This is it. I think this is my webtoon tier list. Thank you again, man. Watch again. This took such a long time. This took almost 5-6 hours to make. Please please subscribe. Please like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment if you disagree with me, and I'll link the tier list below so that you can create your own tier list using my tier list. Thank you again, everyone, for watching again. Thank you so much. Peace out, boys.